import license and pre-import approval by the Kenya Sugar Board. Roman 3, whether any tax exemptions were granted in respect of the imported sugar, and if so, the legal basis and approving authority for such exemptions. And C, the measures being undertaken by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development to protect local sugar farmers and millers from unfair competition and to promote the sustainability of the local sugar industry. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Very well. This goes to the Agriculture and Livestock Committee. Chairperson. Honourable Justice. Give Honourable Justice the mic.
Honourable Speaker.
Local sugar industry. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Given me to respond.
Very well. This goes to the Agriculture and Livestock Committee. Chairperson. Honourable Justice.
Brief on behalf of the committee. That is a fairly weighty matter, Madam Speaker, and we need to consult both the Ministry of Agriculture and the Kenya Sugar Board on the circumstances sought by the Honourable Karoli Omondi. We wish to request for 2 weeks so that we can be able to do our work properly and give a response that satisfies the need, the question asked by Honourable Karoli Omondi. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Karoli, 2 weeks is pretty reasonable.
Honourable Speaker, I just want us to be alive to the parliamentary timetable so that the question does not go beyond the session that we are on now.
We are still in session all the way to December.
Yes, but this
session.
But we are going to go for a break, aren't we?
Yes, we have some recess, but 2 weeks is reasonable because I've listened to your statement. It is not a straight...
Provided we get the answer before we go for recess.
Do Thank 2 weeks, Honourable Justice.
Madam Speaker, much obliged. Thank you.
Very well. The next statement request is by the member for Tiati. Honourable Kamket.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding the operationalization and implementation of the Equalization Fund. Honourable Speaker, Article 204 of the Constitution establishes the Equalization Fund for the purpose of providing basic services including water, roads, health facilities and electricity to marginalized areas, and to bring the quality of those services to the level generally enjoyed by the rest of the nation. However, Honourable Speaker, the operationalization and implementation of the fund has been characterized by delays in approval and disbursement of funds and delayed commencement of projects in the marginalized areas. Notably, Honourable Speaker, in many instances, funds appropriated for identified projects remain unutilized for prolonged periods, despite the projects having already undergone the prerequisite identification and approval processes. This points to structural inefficiencies within the current implementation framework, or indeed administrative ineptitude on the part of the county governments as the procuring entities. Consequently, Honourable Speaker, substantial public resources continue to lie idle, thereby frustrating the timely realization of the objects of the fund. Madam Speaker, additionally, the implementation framework under the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and the Regulations, Cap 412A, and the regulations involves institutional overlap by various agencies, including the National Treasury, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, Parliament, county governments, and the Advisory Board of the Regulation Fund. This has resulted, Madam Speaker, in bureaucratic bottlenecks, delayed project approvals, and slow execution of development initiatives. Consequently, many marginalized communities continue to experience inadequate access to essential public services despite the existence of this fund. It is against this background, Honorable Speaker, that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. Number one, a report of the implementation status of Equalization Fund for the years ending 30th June 2023 and 2024 financial year in Baringo County, including the amounts allocated and disbursed and the status of the projects undertaken. Number two, any plans by the National Treasury and economic planning to utilize the fund directly for the implementation of approved projects in line with Article 204B of the Constitution so as to eliminate administrative delays. And C, plans by the Ministry to strengthen coordination between the national government, county governments, and other implementing agencies to ensure effective delivery of Equalization Fund projects at the local level in line with the principles of cooperation under Article 6 of the Constitution. Thank you.
Very well. That goes to Honorable Justice. Are you a member of Finance Committee?
Madam Speaker, I wanted to just give a
comment. You want to ride on it?
Yes, please,
okay.
Madam Speaker.
I'll indulge you.
Madam Speaker, the Equalization Fund, as passed by this House, was meant to benefit those areas of this country which have been marginalized and which have remained behind in terms of development for a long, long time. Madam Speaker, the implementation of the Equalization Fund by the county governments has left a critical player in the exercise, and that is representatives of the people. The county governments have gone ahead to implement the projects without involving representatives of the people at the constituency level. Madam Speaker, much as this question by Honorable Kamket is centering on Baringo, I would wish, Madam Speaker, using your authority, that you extend to cover the implementation, that the answer when it comes, you extend to cover the implementation of the Equalization Fund in all parts of the country where the fund is meant to serve. Madam Speaker, I have a very small section of the constituency which is covered by that fund, but the implementation, the process itself is so chaotic that if this House is left without its involvement, I doubt if it will realize the objectives for which the fund was established. So, Madam Speaker, I seek that you extend...
You've made your point?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ngikolong.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance. Madam Speaker, the question by Honorable Kamket and the way the Honorable Member Justice has just put it, the reason why the Equalization Fund was put in our Constitution in 2010 and why even Kenyans fought for this decision to be adopted in my area or in the areas where the Equalization Fund was meant for. People voted for this Equalization Fund because it was meant to bring the marginalized areas to be equal to other areas which have been already developed. And as from 2010 to date, we don't see we have not felt the equalization fund in our areas. My area, my constituency, is one of the areas which are supposed to be to benefit from equalization fund. But up to date, there is nothing like equalization which we have received in my constituency. And for this reason, we want when the statement is being brought to this house, let the committee concerned bring the entire report of equalization fund from 2010 to date, so that we can see how far the equalization fund has helped the people of this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Raso.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support statement by Honorable Kamket. Equalization Fund, Article 203 of our Constitution is very clear. It is to address the issue of electricity, water, education, and health. The idea is to bring those marginalized areas, those areas that are generally underprivileged and which have been excluded for a long time from the mainstream development in this country, to be brought closer to those areas that are already developed. And for that reason, what is happening, equalization fund is no longer what it is as prescribed in the Constitution. It is something else. Because today we are told that other areas within even cities, like let us say Madare, Kariobangi, Karioko, all of them, we are told that they are going to receive equalization fund. And yet it was meant to address the issues in 15 ASAL counties, arid and semi-arid lands. For that reason, Honorable Speaker, we are the budget makers, we are the lawmakers. We have no reasons to complain. I think the chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee is in this house, the leader of majority is in this house. We must decide how to go forward with the equalization fund. The way it is being done, it is actually marginalizing more those areas that are already underprivileged and underserved. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I know these are thorny issue. That is why I have indulged a few of you. Please don't make long speeches. Don't make long speeches. I want to give Honorable Ochakapong.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Now, the statement by the Honorable Kamket is very timely. Honorable Speaker, equalization fund projects in areas benefiting from this fund have been mistaken for county projects. In some areas, there is a lot of bureaucracy, and since the counties are the procuring entities, many a times they have taken it to be their projects, and there are delays in implementation of these projects, and even in terms of ownership, county governments have owned that these are their projects, as if these are projects that are funded through county government funds, which is not the case. Honorable Speaker, I wish the minister came here to address this issue. We would even suggest and propose, if this House can agree, that in Article 204 Part B, it is still possible for projects and programs under equalization fund to be funded directly from the national office, rather than go through the county governments, which is bringing a lot of bureaucracies and therefore delaying the implementation of these projects. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for Elgeyo Marakwet.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice on it. I would wish to request that then there is need for frequent reviews For example, a county like Elgeyo Marakwet, you find that an equalization fund is given to only one constituency, and Elgeyo Marakwet, all the 4 constituencies have similar problems. The poverty index in all the 4 constituencies are similar, and they only received 65 million, while other counties, neighboring counties, received up to 1.6 billion shillings, Madam Speaker. So it is also my sincere request that there is need for a review so that we ensure that, and we also need to know the criteria that they use, because as far as I know, they are using the statistics of census 2019, Madam Speaker, and you know things are so vast and they keep changing. So they need to be a little bit thorough so that they give an accurate statistics of the poverty index. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Honourable Member for Diwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we cannot talk about the same thing, same way, and expect any different result. What I think we should do, because I have 5 wards that get this fund, but you can hardly see anything that this fund does. So through this request, I think we can revert back this fund to the constituency, to the CDF, where it was before, actually. And have a good discussion and revert the whole thing to make it effective, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Endebess.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I want to support the statement by Honorable Kamuket, and in the same line with what the member for Sikowet Sowin, Justice Kemei, said, we would want it to include all the areas that are benefiting from the equalization fund. And I would want to urge my colleagues who are still stuck in the 15 counties that things are changed after the CRA reviewed the second and used the second formula, which the unit now of implementation is at the sub-locational level. And therefore, Endebess happens to be one of the beneficiaries. One of my sub-locations which borders West Pokot, and it has the same environment like West Pokot. It cannot be denied those services. It's in Kepchoina, Kaptega sub-location, and now it's a location. So we would want the CRA to be able to, even now as it becomes a location, it should now the amount allocation should be reviewed, because when it was a sub-location, it was getting 20 million, and they even did procurement, but processing and award of the contract has been very slow. Therefore, I think we would want, when the response is being done, maybe you could direct, Honorable Speaker, that the minister concerned, together with the CEO of the Equalization Fund, maybe appears before the committee that is oversighting, and all members who have expressed issues, we are ready to appear before that committee and prosecute our issues, so that we want to make sure that this Equalization Fund works and is able, because every financial year, even the appropriation that we've done now, there is appropriation, we have given money for Equalization Fund, and therefore we would want that money to be utilized and people to achieve the services.
Honorable Member for Chepalungu, are you holding brief for the Committee of Finance? Are you holding brief?
No.
Are you a member?
I'm not a member.
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I'm not a member of the Finance Committee and neither holding brief, but 2 of my sub-locations in Chepalungu constituency, that is Nogiriwet and Cheptagum constituency, were beneficiaries of this Equalization Fund. This is for the first time since inception of the Equalization Fund. But, Honorable Speaker, the residents, together with the DCC and together with a person representing myself, sat there and agreed on the projects that were going to be implemented, Honorable Speaker. But then what Honorable Kamket is bringing is about the delay in implementation. Truly, Honorable Speaker, almost 1.5 years down the line, nothing has been done despite public participation that was done. And normally when I go to to the field, Honorable Speaker, to implement CDF projects, I am put to question because the residents there believe that members of parliament are answerable, whereas we all know that the procuring entity is the county government. Honorable Speaker, just the way Honorable Justice Keme has requested, I also wish that when these reports come back to Parliament, Chepalungu constituency and any other constituency that was benefiting from this equalization fund be included in the report so that the residents that we represent are able to know what actually is delaying their projects factually. Honorable Speaker, I thank you for that.
Very well, Daraka. DG, the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of climatic conditions and aridity, marginalization, and everything else, the Raka rivals Baringo. And my recollection is about 2 years ago, when I saw this equalization fund being allocated by CRA, only 3 sublocations in the Raka got the funds, and the total amount for the Raka was only 22 million. The Raka Nithi, no other sublocation benefited, so the entire county had 22 million against Baringo 600 million. Honorable Speaker, if we are equalizing areas, we cannot go with the formula of CRA. And it's a high time we looked at the law to see whether indeed, if this money is taken to constituencies through CDF, it does a better job than it is doing. Even the projects they identified 2 years ago, they have not been implemented, which means either the money was not utilized, it went back to Treasury, or whichever. Equalization fund is meant for areas that are marginalized, areas that have been left behind, Tharaka included, Kitui, Baringo, and all the others. We cannot go the way we are going. We have to relook at the law. We ensure that there is indeed equalization as contemplated by the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, I've indulged many of you, and I know this is a thorny issue. I still see some interest. Please keep it very short, because I want you to ride on this question by Honourable Kamket so that we get to the end of this problem. It has come here not once. So let me hear Honourable Yegon. Then I will hear Shakil, then Honorable Emathe, and Timothy will be the last one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me an opportunity to ride on this matter. Madam Speaker, I think this is something which needs a broader discussion, and we would like to also think of inviting the Cabinet Secretary who is concerned into this so that at least he can broadly tell us and give us details of which areas are being covered by this equalization fund. Madam Speaker, in my constituency, I have 2 areas which is 2 wards. One is Kibreres ward and another one Longisa ward, which is totally in dire need of this equalization fund. In fact, we have so many teachers who are working out of my constituency, and when they want to come, they request to come back to the constituency. They always normally refer to me to maybe request them to come to a neighboring constituency like Narok West, where this equalization funds is working. So what we are doing is, what I'm requesting is basically to ask to look at the whole entire country and see those areas which equalization funds should apply. And this is something which we need to be addressed once and for all, because it is affecting entirely the whole country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Shakil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, firstly, let me inform the House that I was on the Constitution Review Commission since 1998, and we worked very closely and we spent a lot of time on the Equalization Fund. It is a special constitutional fund created under Article 204 of the Constitution to finance basic services such as water, roads, health facilities and electricity in historically marginalized areas. Now that's the point. The point is here that the equalization fund has been suppressed between politically. The core and purpose was to bring the basic qualities services to the historically marginalized areas. And Madam Speaker, there is also the marginalization fund, which also was created under the Constitution of Kenya to address the issue of the marginalized counties. Now, when you look at the equalization fund, one of the major issues of the equalization fund was water, health facilities and electricity. We know that the current government and electricity under the last mile, they're doing well. The health facilities, we are not that good because it's with the county.
Honorable Shakil, don't do a debate, please,
I am
because
not
you're riding on the same.
I am not putting a debate.
Yeah.
I'm informing the House that we were there in the Constitution review when we put these two funds so that they could support the marginalized. I'm now finding that both these funds have been suppressed and they're changed and they've not been activated in the manner it was proposed to be. Had they been activated in that manner, rather than disseminated in little pieces, we would have been in a much better situation. So I plead with the House and I plead with these that we try and find in the last year of this term to see what we can do. And I'd like the Ministry of Finance and Planning to inform the House this is the amount of money that we have in equalization fund, and this is the amount of funds that we have in the marginalization fund, and this is what we have done in the past 5 years. I'll be asking a question on that, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much.
Emathe.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is a Kamkunji that's growing up here, led by the Chief Whip.
Honorable Emathe, you have the floor. Kindly prosecute your issue.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, Article 204 on ensuring that the historically marginalized areas are also equalized in the development agenda is critical to our discussion. And Madam Speaker, allow me to point two issues. One, delay in the implementation of these equalization projects, equalization fund projects. And I want to thank Mheshimiwa Tiati for raising this. And I'm holding a report for Turkana Central on equalization fund. And when I look at it, only 2 projects out of 10 have been implemented since 2023. Madam Speaker, this delayed implementation will not help our country, will not help these historically marginalized areas to be developed, Madam Speaker. Again, when you look at what they have implemented, some projects have been duplicated. For example, there is a project that I'm already implementing under the same fund that we received in 2018. And you see, another project has been targeted for the same place. Madam Speaker, on this, I am sure EACC should be ready to pick up on this duplication, because a project was created and then another project on equalization fund is created in the same place. Madam Speaker, I think the most important thing here is to see how this equalization fund can be legalized fully and ensure that we get to the right office to implement this fund. As it is now, it is just owned by the county government. And it is what in some areas you can see being implemented, and the county government has just gone to sleep. And
You have made your point.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Timothy?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as a country, we must reflect and ask ourselves what was the purpose of Article 204 of our Constitution in respect to Equalization Fund. Honorable Speaker, a keen reading of that provision provides that it was meant to provide basic services, including water, roads, healthcare services, and electricity to marginalized areas to the extent necessary to bring the quality of those services in those areas to the level generally enjoyed by the rest of the nation insofar as possible. Honorable Speaker, this fund was meant to bring equality in this country. But, Honorable Speaker, we lost the intent and the purpose of Equalization Fund in this country. Honorable Speaker, currently, we do not have a proper implementation mechanism of this fund. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine Honorable Kamket tried to bring a legislation on Equalization Fund to this House, but it never saw light of the day. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, for us to properly implement Equalization Fund in this country, we need a comprehensive legal framework in terms of Equalization Act, a legislation, a statute. Because, Honorable Speaker, currently, this fund is being implemented through regulations. So, Honorable Speaker, we do not have a clear framework, so that we need a clear legal framework to implement this particular
You've made your
fund.
point.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I had already directed that you be the last one. Honorable members, we have had enough representation of the members before we speak to the committee of finance, because this matter has become repetitive. Honorable Kamket, you are the owner of the statement. You are the owner of the statement. What could be out of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you for indulging me. There is nothing out of order. I just wanted to say, Madam Speaker, given the interest that this statement has generated among members, would I be in order, Madam Speaker, to ask that we not only deal with the committee on finance, but we bring the
we are headed there, Honorable Kamket. We are headed there.
Yes,
because
yes,
we have indulged very many members, and I see there is still a lot of interest on this matter. And this statement will not do justice if it is just going to speak to Baringo or to Honorable William Kamket's question. So even as the committee prosecutes, is the chair in the House, the vice chair? But the leadership is here. Honorable Osoro, this matter of equalization, we cannot speak about the same thing for 2 years, for 3 years, over and over again. Cause the CS to appear specifically on this matter of equalization fund. Because even if we say the committee to call members, how they can't even fit in a committee room as it is. So cause the CS to appear as soon as possible to respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we will indeed do that, because this is a matter that many members have raised over the years. And it's about time that to get the CS appear before this House. But, Honorable Speaker, it may not be possible as soon as you have said, because I think we'll be here. There's a lot of business to be handled next week, even before we proceed for recess. Let's commit that we'll make it as a first agenda in the very first or second week upon our resumption.
That is reasonable, so that we don't get any excuse for him not to appear. The first, latest second week after recess. Honorable members, let also endeavor to be in the House when that is communicated. Those questions that you're asking, that will be the right forum to get the responses and get the way forward. Next order. Honorable Makali Mulu, I have already said we go to the next order. I don't know which.
Amata.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity. I've looked at the order paper, and I see that there is order number 9, which is going to discuss the committee of the whole House, and part of that will be the finance bill, Honorable Speaker. But when I look at the order paper, I don't see any amendments. I'm aware the committee said they will be amending, and also our side will be amending. Can you guide us, the House, Honorable Speaker, on that matter?
Honorable Makali Mulu, that is a fair question. Give me some time as we move to order number 8. We will give you a response on the same. Next order.
Order number 8, the supplementary appropriation number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026. Second reading.
Chair, budget. Back BSc.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to move that the supplementary appropriation bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, yesterday the House debated the supplementary estimates robustly, and most members were able to participate in that debate. Now it is time for this House to give government powers and authority to be able to withdraw funds from consolidated fund for implementation of the programs that are listed in this bill. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this bill is basically the same as what we discussed yesterday. And just for the recap of members who may not have been in the House yesterday, is to say that we intend to withdraw 18.8 billion in the supplementary 2 estimates for purposes of fulfilling a number of programs that are listed in the bill. One of which is programs to do with development of sports. Honorable Speaker, we are preparing to host the African Cup of Nations. And Honorable Speaker, we have been working on preparing several stadiums for the purpose of the events that are going to come. Towards this end, Honorable Speaker, we have allocated 4.1 billion that will be used to improve various stadiums across the country. Some will be used for training for the teams that are going to participate. Others are going to be used for the live matches. For example, Honorable Speaker, we have the Talanta Stadium, the Raila Odinga Talanta Stadium, which is one of the stadiums that are going to be used, and we have allocated resources here to be used to ensure that the stadium is completed in time for the games. Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated resources for water programs, the Mwache Dam, which is in Kwale, Honorable Speaker. This is a donor-funded program that we need to spend about 2.3 billion. The funds are ready with the donors to be disbursed, just awaiting the passage of this bill. Honorable Speaker, we have resources for Nyota. We have 847 billion that is going towards the National Youth Opportunities towards Advancement Program Nyota that we intend to appropriate. Honorable Speaker, we have 1.5 billion, which is going for invigilation services. Honorable Speaker, during the last exams, our invigilators across the country were employed and their resources to pay them did not come. So we are allocating 1.5 billion shillings that is going towards payment of vigilators. Honorable Speaker, we have also security concerns. And yesterday I explained, Honorable Speaker, that anytime we need to take care of our security situation in the country, anytime we need to take care of our security as a country, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, there are security needs that needs to be sorted out, and towards this we have resources that we have allocated here that will be used to take care of our security globally in the country. Honorable Speaker, this is a very small bill that I just want the House to help us by giving the government authority to spend these resources by passing the supplementary appropriations bill as is in the order paper. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I would like to ask the Vice Chairman of Budget Committee to second.
Member for Endebess.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to second the supplementary appropriation number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026. And this is to allow the government to now withdraw funds to be able to fund the projects as ably substantiated by my chair. And therefore, I second.
Very well. Order, members. Honorable members, allow me then to put the question, to propose the question that the supplementary appropriation bill number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026 be now read a second time. Order, members. I have a lot of interest on this bill. Allow me to give it to the member for Moiben. Is she in the house? Member for Kajiado North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is just 2 weeks to the end of the financial year. An appropriation bill that wants to give the Deputy President 200 million, 1 billion to the State House. Madam Speaker, when are they going to spend this money? At what point are they going to spend? On what? Madam Speaker, amounting to 6.5 billion for general expenses. For public service, Mr. Speaker, a place where you know very well, you have increased the number of employees. Madam Speaker, you are worth just 198. My problem is the lack of priority for this administration. Honorable members, it is important for you to note that at the end of the financial year, your NGCDF has not been 100% up to this point. What we should be talking about is 100% of NGCDF resources that are pro-people. And Madam Speaker, it is important for members to know, when you bring supplementary to appropriation, all your pending roads should have been on this supplementary, so that if the Honorable Soro has roads in South Migurango, if I have roads, we should have prioritized this 5 billion to go to these pending projects. But we are taking them for recurrent expenditure. I have a big issue with that. While the chair of the committee is very efficient in facilitating the executive, be efficient in facilitating stalled projects in the Nyanza region, in the Coast region. Don't be very fast to facilitate other operations. And you have 1.5 billion for other operations in the Office of Interior Security, in Office of Internal Security and National Administration. Madam Speaker, it is important for you to know that some of the pending issues in this bunge, some of the things of the project that we have wished to do, they have not been factored in. These 2 weeks, of course, you know very well, even some of you have problem with your own offices. You had requested for resources and they have not been catered in. Allow me to also say that it is important for the projects that we talked about while we were beginning these sessions, and they have already been procured, and what has told them is resources. So when you put in 6 billion to recurrent expenditure, it's a shame on you, honorable members. And the Honorable Soro, you want to come here and say yes, yes, yes. You even don't want us to debate this. You want us to go to the vote. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for according me this opportunity. I do not need to belabor that the priorities of the Kenya Kwanza administration are lost. Recurrent administration is not what you should prioritize. Some of you that are complaining here, like the member for Nandi Hills, your roads are dire. They are in bad shape. You should be talking about your roads, not recurrent expenditure. The Honorable Soro, you have problems with roads in your constituency. With those many remarks, this is the worst supplementary 2 we have ever had. It is so unconstitutional. 2 weeks, how are they going to spend 6.5 billion in other expenses? It is not even possible. This is budgeted corruption. This is what we are saying no to. With those many remarks, you can have your cake, take your budget with your president, go and do what you so wish. But Kenyans are watching you.
Very well. Member for Baringo North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker,
Before I deal with the Honorable and the issues raised, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I rise to support
Please
this.
don't deal with honorable members. Deal with the bill.
Madam Speaker, one, I rise to support this last supplementary of 2025-2026 financial year. Madam Speaker, the intention of this supplementary is to finance programs that might not have been captured or resources have been allocated in the main budget and subsequent supplementaries. It does not mean that other programs that have been budgeted, procured for, are not being funded, Madam Speaker. It means programs that were not captured, for example, even in Kajiado North, where Honorable Ngogoyo comes from, there are teachers who marked the examination. There are invigilators who did work, and they have not been paid. Madam Speaker, does it mean that the Honorable Member from Kajiado, where teachers marked the examination and invigilated, does not want them to be paid? Madam Speaker, these are Kenyans that have already worked for, and they need to be supported so that they can be able to carry out the next invigilation and examination of this year, Madam Speaker. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we as a country has a privilege to host the African Cup of Nations here in Kenya. If we don't work on our stadium, including the Talanta Stadium, we lose, Madam Speaker. How do we restore confidence of other African countries to come to our country so that they can be able to participate in sports? Madam Speaker, does it mean these members who oppose this supplementary budget do not want this country to host the African Cup of Nations? Madam Speaker, let us differentiate between politics and propaganda and deal with issues that affect our people and remain patriotic. Even if you are in opposition, there is need for you to become patriotic in your country. When good things are supposed to be done in your country, Madam Speaker, you need to become a patriot, not play politics of hate, politics of propaganda all the time when issues are being raised in our country that require support of all of us, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, the programs, Madam Speaker, including the 1 billion for State House, Madam Speaker, and many other resources. Madam Speaker, you've seen the development that has gone place. There are Kenyans who have supplied goods and services. They need to be paid, Madam Speaker. Yeah. I will accept the point
Do you want
of
to be
information
informed by Honorable Osoro?
Yes.
Honorable Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to inform the Honorable Makelap, especially on the question of State House and the presidency budget in general, even as we talk about the supplementary 2 appropriation. You know, one thing, and I think Honorable Ngogoyo should listen very keenly, that when we talk about presidency budget, stop looking at it from a limited or a pipeline or a straight line that it is William Ruto. Presidency is, this particular house passed that all the former presidents and the president that have served in this country should be remunerated even as they retire. They have their pension that the presidency takes care of. The State House budget takes care of the budget of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. The presidency takes care of the State House budget takes care of the former president's all the former president's family. It is not a preserve of one particular. That is the truth. That is the truth. It is a collective thing of the presidency. I know you have no idea, of course, but you need to be informed as such. So when you look at the appropriation.
Order, Honorable Osoro. Do not debate. You are to inform Honorable Makilap, not to debate. Take your seat, Honorable Osoro.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I will give all of you a chance to speak. Honorable Makilap.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Makilap.
There is no point of order
there is no
on my
one on
side.
the feet who has said anything.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Makilap, finish your submission.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am winding up. Madam Speaker, what I was raising, Madam Speaker, is that programs of government and offices, including that of the Deputy President, Madam Speaker, if there are programs and development projects that have been done in those offices, The people who supplied goods and services in this country requires to be paid, Madam Speaker. This money is going to good use, Madam Speaker, to bridge the gap for those things that are necessary for the development of our country, Madam Speaker. Let members not see when there is an allocation for State House, believe that the money will go to one President William Ruto. No, this State House will belong to generations. Even my good friend here will one day become president and will be able to use that house and will have a very good place. Even my good friend here could be another president. Even my good friend Clive, you can become president and you will want to live in a very good place. So, Madam Speaker, I rise to support this last supplementary budget, Madam Speaker, and let us approve it. Let us move on with
members. Honorable Gisairo, what is out of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, Honorable Makilapa said, I want to be a future president. There is nothing.
Is that out of order?
That is out of order. He's naming
for Honorable Makilap to say you'll be a future president. Is that out of order?
I have not said that intention. My future president is Honorable Matiang'i. So let us be very specific. And secondly, Honorable Speaker.
Order.
Honorable Speaker.
Order, members.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gisairo.
Osoro cannot mislead
Honorable
this
Gisairo.
House and say former
Honorable
president.
Gisairo. Honorable Osoro is not on his feet. You rose on a point of order to say that Honorable Makilap should not say you'll be the president. That is not out of order. Honorable Makilap, kindly wind up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was saying, Madam Speaker, and this is for posterity, that each one of us, if you find favor from God, one time you will also become a president in this country. And I mentioned him. And let us also appreciate that God will reward each one of you in many ways. And one of us inside here will become a president and will be able to use State House. That is properly done, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, let us approve this supplementary budget to meet expenditure for those programs that are so critical to the people of Kenya at this particular moment. And call upon all of us. Let us become patriotic for our country. This is Kenya. This country belongs to all of us, regardless of where you come from.
Member for Funyula. Not on this. Member for Kajiado West. If you want to speak on this, because honorable members have logged in, indicate in the intervention. Honorable Emase, use the intervention because so many of you are listed and are not intending to speak on this. Honorable Emase.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. And this is a very important bill, Supplementary Appropriations 2 Bill of 2026. Honorable Speaker, this bill is important in the sense that it gives power and authority to National Treasury to be able to draw funds from the consolidated fund to finance the various programs as specified in the votes and the programs of the ministry. And yesterday, Honorable Speaker, I didn't get an opportunity to contribute, but while listening, I think we were advised that it's important that we read. And then I want to educate the Honorable Member for Kajiado, Honorable Goyo, who was speaking and referring to this budget, not to this supplementary appropriation, not to be addressing issues touching on the people, the pro people. And Honorable Speaker, when I look at this appropriations bill, there is an allocation of 2.3 billion for water and sanitation. Honorable Speaker, there is an allocation of 4.1 for capital, that's development expenditure in the State Department for Sports. There is also an allocation of 1.9 billion for youth affairs and creative economy. And Honorable Speaker, there is an allocation of 3.8 billion for the micro and small and medium enterprises development. These are all pro-people programs that have been prioritized here by the supplementary appropriations. And in any case, this is just a supplementary rearrangement of the budget to move funds to where they are needed the most. Otherwise, all those programs that you are referring to have been factored for in the main budget. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Very well. Honorable Engineer Zengu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important motion. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to contribute on matters to do with Mwache Dam, but even as I go to Mwache Dam, I want to ask a clarification. This money that is appropriated under the presidency, I want to be guided whether it's the same money that is supposed to honor the pledges that have been given by the President. Honorable Speaker, the President in 2023 came to my constituency and promised that he's going to buy a school bus for a school called Tharaka Girls, and promised that he's going to do another school in Kakombe, and he promised so many things in my constituency. Those things have not been done.
Honorable Engineer Zengu, take your seat for a minute. There's a point of order from member for Endebess.
Honorable Speaker, I stand under Standing Order 81 on relevance. We are talking about appropriation bill, where we are supplementary appropriation bill, where we are talking about government, allowing government to withdraw funds to finance. The only relevant thing in that supplementary is where we are paying teachers, the invigilators, and the examiners. So when Honorable Nsengu brings in the issue of a promise of a school bus, is he in order, Honorable Speaker, to bring relevance into this debate?
Honorable Nsengu.
Honorable Speaker, I do not have any other opportunity to request for fairness for my constituents, so I stand by my demand that if we are appropriating money for the presidency, then that money should be directed to honor that pledge. Honorable Speaker, I stand guarded. Honorable Speaker, on the matter of Mwache Dam, Honorable Speaker, we visited as a committee, because I belong to the Committee of Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation, and we realized that the community where the water is being abstracted from is not benefiting from the Mwache project. The water is being collected from the Mwache area, but the water is going to Mombasa County. And we insisted as a committee that the community, the host community, must be considered in that project. So I hope that part of this money will be used to provide water for the host community. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, this has been the story over and over again in the project where the Karemenu project. You realize the Karemenu in Muranga, you realize that the host community is not benefiting from the water. The water is
Karemenu in Muranga?
Karemenu is in Ruto, I think it's Muranga.
It is not in Muranga, but
okay, that project, the Northern Collector Tunnel. Let me correct myself. The Northern Collector Tunnel, which is in Muranga, when we visited that project, again the same story of the host community not benefiting and the water benefiting some communities downstream is the same that has been repeated in Mwache. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge that the planners of this water project must take care of the host community before it benefits other community. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Tharaka.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, today we are debating the bill itself. Yesterday we were on the estimates, but the statements that were made yesterday continue to be repeated this morning, and it's important that we also respond to them. Number one, we were given areas where this money is actually being appropriated to, and we debated on those areas. A repetition that there is money being allocated to the presidency. We have said that the presidency is as important as any other facet of this government. And to prove this, you can see what the office is doing as we speak today. The chief executive of the country is out of the country, busy working for this country in matters that are going to be of benefit to us. That is number one. Number two, as he works out there, the deputy president, and we must admit that we have one of the best deputy presidents since the era of Moi. Moi was the only other person who actually rivals Professor Kithure Kindiki. Absolutely. You can see the way he's running the country in the absence of the chief executive. I do repeat, without any qualms whatsoever, that
what is out of order, member for Kegumo?
What's the scale? I don't have to have your scale.
Take your seat, Honorable Murugara.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think we must also be truthful and factual in this House, and all statements must be verifiable. How, starting order number 83, how can Murugara claim that you have the best deputy president since the era of Moi? What criteria are you using?
Honorable Gigi.
Thank you very much. Let me give you the right scale. The right scale is number one.
Members, the member has just taken on his feet.
I haven't said anything.
He has not even spoken. Give him a minute to say something.
The scale I have used is my own scale. I am entitled to debate. I am entitled to express my opinion here. I can assure you, listen to why I say so, if you want to hear. Number one, Professor Kithure Kindiki understands the government.
Honorable members,
understand the government.
Honorable members, we agreed shouting will not sort out our issues. I am being very fair to give every person a chance to speak. Honorable members, Honorable Ngogoyo, take your seat. Take your seat. I have not given you the floor. Take your seat. Honorable members, let us maintain decorum. We were doing very well. Even now, there is no chance, there is no reason to be agitated. We will hear each other. So, honorable members, I know many of you are really pushing buttons today, but allow us. No, I'm not sending anyone out. And do not do the speaker's work. Do not do the speaker's work. I will give you, Honorable Kalasinga, what is out of order. It is not only you, Honorable Ngogoyo. Honorable members are raising points of order. I will indulge Honorable Kalasinga.
Madam Speaker, is Honorable Murugara in order to insinuate that the current deputy president was elected by the people of Kenya? They were not. He was appointed by a few executives. Madam Speaker, can he purport to be telling us about the deputy president who was not elected on the ballot? On the ballot, Madam Speaker. On a different issue.
Honorable Murugara.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, it is important I remind you that I am a seasoned lawyer in this country. And everybody knows it. Nobody would ever point a finger at me. In this country, you do not elect a deputy president, my friend. Deputy presidents are nominated. Read your law. We never casted any votes for a deputy president. And we will never do so. Even regarding Gachagua, we did not vote for him.
What is out of order?
We voted for only the president.
Hold on, Murugara.
His name appears with a nominated deputy president.
Honorable Ngogoyo, what is out of order? And shouting at the speaker does not add to your cause. What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, and Madam Speaker, you know I have a lot of respect for you. I stand understanding Order 97. 1, a member cannot speak on a question twice. The Honorable Murugara spoke yesterday on this question.
On what?
On this question on the supplementary budget. He's speaking for the second time. You cannot speak on a matter twice, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Gogoyo, that I know there is a lot of confusion of what went on yesterday and what is going on today. Honorable members, be guided that yesterday was the report, which was very different, which is very different from what we are dealing with today. This bill has just been moved today. Yesterday was something very different. So, honorable members, Honorable Murugara, do not explain that. The speaker has guided. It was not exhaustive. You did not speak yesterday.
The speaker
so kindly
has guided.
Finish your submission and we make progress.
And I was called upon to substantiate what I said. Absolutely. No, substantiation is as follows. And I'm also a student of history. So I know what President Moi did when he was vice president to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. So when I draw the comparison, when I draw the analogy, I have the facts in my fingertips. And if you wish to get them, I'll give them to you one by one. We must absolutely, we have said we are allocating 200 million to the office of the deputy president. And you cannot question that, I'm sorry, because we passed the estimates yesterday. If you were not here, you have yourself to blame. Number two, it depends on whether this motion, this bill, will carry the day or not. And it's going to carry the day. Therefore, we must appreciate the important work that Deputy President is doing for the country. And I must laud the ODM. When they gave us the experts, actually we from the Mount Kenya East, we also gave this government an expert in the name of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, I need to clarify to the House something very quickly. Yesterday's motion was the consideration of the supplementary estimates for the year 2025-2026 general debate, that this House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the consideration of the same. So that even the members who spoke yesterday, you still have a chance to speak today, because these are different bill, different motion. Are we together, honorable members? We are doing very well. Honorable members, I'll give the member for Suba South. Honorable Karoli.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think what we are witnessing here is now the long list of examples of poor planning in this administration. A government that is very long on promises and short on delivery, that exhibits unprecedented confusion, impulsive expenditure, limited transparency and accountability. We have before us a supplementary budget concentrating resources in the office of the Deputy President for what they call operations, office of the State House for what they call operations again, Department of Internal Security for what they call general administration, and National Intelligence Service for what they don't even describe what it is. Madam Speaker, we know why this money is being allocated to these particular offices. It is to provide resources for political campaigns. We know that. They do it all the time. Confidential expenditure that nobody can verify. And it goes on a long list, including the failed Kisumu rally that was financed by the state.
Honorable Karoli, there is a point of order from the Chair, National Administration.
Give me the mic, please. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think the learned, my good friend learned Karoli is misleading the House. And I want to challenge the members who are actually making noise on this. We should delink the office of the institution, the presidency, from the individuals. We should not use the floor of this House to do our cheap politics. It is my committee that appropriates and allocates funds to these offices. And I can confirm to the country and this House that these funds are well spent they are justified, and they are to do them for the good of the country, not the individuals.
Order!
Yes.
Order! Kibore, order! Is it you to ask him what's his point of order? Is that your business? Order, Ngogoyo. Order. You rose on a point of order. Proceed and tell me what's your point of order. Order. What's your point of order?
Thank you, Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, I'm saying the learned friend, Karoli, should not mislead this House.
You're not a lawyer. Are you a lawyer yourself?
I'm not.
So you don't, only lawyers
You
can
don't
call
need to be
one
a
another
lawyer.
learned friends. Order, proceed. Proceed.
He's my friend, but he's not learned. Honorable Speaker.
Okay, yeah.
The solution being offered is as bad as the problem itself. Mr. Speaker, wise men have told us before that life under good government is rarely dramatic. The life under a bad government is always so. Honorable Speaker, we are being told that there's money here being allocated for the completion of the stadiums that are being built for AFCON. Let me tell the world, the Talanta Stadium, which they want to name after our great leader Raila Amolo Odinga, is itself an example of how corrupt and how inept this government is. That particular stadium, the original costing was 18 billion. It was revised to 32 billion by University of Nairobi. Today, that stadium is costing $342 million.
What's your point of order, Honorable Dawood? Order. Honorable Dawood, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Karoli should substantiate when he said that this money is going for political campaigns. Can he substantiate which political campaigns is he talking about?
Honorable Speaker, there is a schedule here. The 200 million to the office of the Deputy President is
order, Honorable Karoli. The majority leader is on a point of order. Order.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, majority leader.
Honorable Speaker, I rise because I don't want to interrupt Honorable Karoli, and I want to just ask members. Honorable Karoli has his right to say whatever he wants to say. And Honorable Speaker, we are degrading the image of this House. Thoroughly. We are degrading the image of this House when Honorable Karoli stands in his place and the best he can get is a shouting match. Honorable Rahim has a right to interject, Honorable Speaker. And you have given him the right to interject. He will interject for a minute, then Honorable Karoli continues. The member for Kajiado North is there shouting at the other one, you sit down. And Honorable Speaker, you have rightly told the member for Kajiado North, Honorable Ngogoyo, you are the one presiding the House. I really want to beseech you, members. Let us not degrade ourselves to the level we are degrading ourselves, to a level worse than county assemblies, honestly. We should allow, this is exactly what I'm speaking about. Honorable Speaker,
yes.
It speaks volumes to a member's maturity level. When you can't have the temerity.
Honorable Ngogoyo. Order, Honorable Majority Leader. Order. Honorable members, I want this House to have the dignity that it deserves. I had told you before yesterday, I'm not going to give anybody the honor of sending him out of the House because maybe they would appear on the headlines and that might appeal to people outside the House. The dignity of the House must be protected. But I'm going to change that now. If I hear any shouting matches here and somebody without deferring the responsibility of maintaining order in the House to the Speaker or the Chair for that matter decides to go on a shouting match across, I'm going to send you out of the House. And I can tell you one thing. I've done that many times before. And I will be willing to do it again. Honorable members, each one of you will get an opportunity. Honorable Ngogoyo, you had your moment. You contributed. You're going to contribute again to this motion if you want. Anybody who has order. Anybody, order. Who is supposed to do that? You? Kalasinga, Honorable Kalasinga, Honorable Murillo. Everybody will have his moment to rebut, to advance, to explain, to oppose, to propose, to support in this house. This is a house of talking. But it's a house of ideas. It's not a house of shouting matches. So let us maintain that dignity. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I really thank the majority leader for those wise words. Unfortunately, he has set the bad precedent himself in this house. He spends a lot of time addressing imaginary enemies and wasting our time here. Anyway, Honorable Speaker, as I was saying, what we have here, and I'm looking at the breakdown, there's a long schedule here. When you look at the expenses, if this was a serious government, they could have contemplated some of them when they were making the main budget. There's nothing we can call emergency here or something that is so special. And the large amounts of resources are allocated to areas that are traditionally known for opaque expenditure and lack of accountability. That is why I'm saying much of the resources here, close to 8-point-something billion, is being taken to areas that we know are being used for politics. 200 million to enable the Deputy President continue traveling around the country doing politics. 1 billion to State House. We don't know what happens there. But most of the times we see yellow colors. It has become a party headquarters. That is not the house that is supposed to unify the entire republic. And if you look at National Intelligence Service, 3.5 billion.
Order. You are a lawyer. You understand the traditions in all democracies. There are a number of institutions that you cannot discuss them in the House. If you have to discuss them, you must have in camera. You cannot discuss the national intelligence. You cannot discuss our armed forces. You cannot discuss the Navy, the Army, the Air Force in the manner you're going to discuss any other. So you can talk about the others, but don't bring in the national intelligence or the Army or the Navy or the Air Force.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I was the top constitutional lawyer in my class. Let me remind the House.
MP for game, order. MP for game. You will remind the House later when there's
Mr. Speaker,
order. Yes.
The Honorable Karoli has been a beneficiary of many visits to State House. So when he visits State House, you must have some tea. It's an important institution. So, and we have many times in the night, Mr. Speaker, visited State House with Karoli. So he cannot say he doesn't know what.
That order, Honorable MP for game. MP for game. Order, Honorable MP for game. That's a point of argument. It's not a point of order. Order. Proceed, Karoli.
Honorable Speaker, our Constitution places all the security agencies under civilian oversight in this House. Section 23 of our Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act clearly says that all documents, whether from National Intelligence Service or the military, are to be brought to this House for scrutiny. So what I'm doing is correct. There is no law that says we don't have oversight. Our Constitution is clear, parliamentary powers and privileges are clear.
Order. I don't know if you're on your second term or your first term. Your first term. Then you are misorder. Order. Wamboka, order. I am the one who is on the floor. The chair is addressing the House. Order. If you are a first timer, you better learn that. Order. Honorable Kalasinga, I want you out of the House for the moment. Out. Until for the rest of the day. You don't even know the rules, because if I tell the Sergeant at Arms and he touches you like that, you will lose a lot of time and a lot of money. So what you don't know the rules, go and study the rules. Order, honorable members, the direction is that Honorable Kalasinga stays out of the House for the rest of the day. Honorable Kalasinga, out. The chair directs that you stay out of the House for the rest of the day. Order. No business will be transacted until you are out of the house. Order. Who was on the floor at the time?
Mr. Speaker, the interruptions continue. I'm still soldiering on. Mr. Speaker, let me strongly oppose this particular supplementary budget for the reasons I've said. And I've given the example of Talanta Stadium, where a whopping 42 billion shillings is being spent there without a tender, without sufficient public scrutiny. And we know why. We know why. We know what is happening there. But one time, in not so distant a future, there'll be accountability. And we will make sure it happens. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Majority Leader. Followed by the Honorable Amolo. Otienda Amolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this second supplementary budget of the year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, let me begin by reiterating what I said when we were considering the report of the committee, that a second supplementary budget ordinarily is to realign expenditure that you cannot be able to consume maybe in one state department to another state department that will be able to consume that money within that fiscal year, or, as the case is in some of the items that are here, to provide for very urgent and emergency funding that had not been provided for. And I just want to point out a few, Honorable Speaker, so that even, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from these people making noise behind me. I can hardly hear myself. Yes, I am of the view, anybody from either side of the House. I wish I had those powers to send anyone out. But, honorable members, I was very serious when I said we need to uphold the decorum of the House. Because Honorable Karoli Omondi will stand in his place, make his point. If there is something that he says I don't agree with, I will correct the situation, like I will be correcting what he's saying about Talanta Stadium. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying some of that expenditure, and I'm happy you have guided on NIS, because NIS, our State Department for Internal Security, are getting an additional 1.5 billion and 3.5 billion to NIS for security operations. And Honorable Speaker, those of us who come from areas that have suffered insecurity, and those members from Marsabit will tell you the problems that they have had in the recent past. You cannot wait for the next financial year to be able to appropriate for security operations and security matters. Because if anything were to happen and the security agencies say they could not do it because they didn't have resources, Honorable Speaker, the discussion will be different from what we are saying here. Honorable Speaker, what are we providing for? And our own members, ordinarily I would never have gone into these details. But because there are those of us who want to make politics out of this, it is good to point it out. And I will start with what affects you as members of Parliament. In this supplementary budget, if Honorable Yegon can listen, and the Honorable Benjamin Langat, if only they can listen, Honorable Benjamin Langat and Yegon, you will know that in this budget, your own medical as members of Parliament, you have an additional 110 million. Your own medical. I do not need to name names and what some of us, our colleagues, have had to go through in the recent past, and the support they have gotten from this institution. It may happen to any one of you before the end of this financial year or the next financial year. In this, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Rahim Dawood, standing where he's standing, he will interject the Honorable Karoli Omondi because he wants to be seen on TV on KBC. For him to be seen on KBC, Parliament has to pay KBC. We have provided an additional 200 billion shillings for you to continue getting the live broadcast so that you may be seen on TV, as many of you want to be seen on TV. Honorable members, many of you frequent the office of a clerk, the office of a speaker, the office of a leader of minority, leader of majority. Help me to access this or that trip. Those trips, you use Kenya Airways. In this budget, you have an additional 150 million shillings, 180 million shillings for pending bills to Kenya Airways, owed by Parliament. Owed by Parliament. In this budget, you have 100 million shillings for those of us, Honorable Speaker, who have offices at KICC, and you access your office without being fitted by anybody, even when Parliament has not paid your rent. We have provided for 100 million shillings to pay for your rent. Honorable Speaker, the people we represent, our children are going to sit for their grade 9 exams. Those who will be sitting for KCSE, the second last class, are sitting for their last exams this year. The second last class. We have provided money to NEC, 1.5 billion shillings, to do what? We have not paid our invigilators, we have not paid our examiners, we have not paid the police officers who escort those exams to ensure, and security people who ensure that those exams do not leak, to have a credible examination process. And yet, Honorable Speaker, we expect that this year we'll sit for exams, credible exams, if we have not paid our examiners and invigilators and security teams that we have not paid in the last year. Honorable Speaker, we all pontificate whenever we speak, all of us, whether here, whether in funerals, whether in political rallies, on the need to address the question of joblessness and lack of employment for millions of our youth who are ravaging out there in poverty. The greatest responsibility we have as leaders is to make sure that, since we pride ourselves in the National Assembly as a budget-making house, the people with the power of the purse, we use that power to ensure that we are providing resources that will create at least, even if it is one job of a Kenyan who had no job, it is good enough. Even one job. The Nyota program, Honorable Speaker, is supporting not just the growth of entrepreneurship in our country, but creating jobs in a manner many of us who are well endowed may not understand. That 20,000 shillings, 22, 25, 30,000 shillings can change the life and livelihood of an entire family, leave alone an individual. We have provided 5.7 billion shillings for the Nyota program in this. That is the money you see that is split between the State Department for MSMEs and the Youth Department. Honorable Speaker, sports stadia. I don't even want to dwell on the politics that the Honorable Karoli Omondi wanted to bring, including saying the Nairobi University had their own figures, as if the Nairobi University is a procurement authority. Honorable Speaker, Talanta Stadium, for those of you who fly, if you listen to your captains, they have been referring to the monastery in their geographical coordinates as you come to land in Nairobi. Today, I hear them referring, especially as you approach Wilson, because one of the runways is closed, the one that faces where the monastery is. They are now referring to the new landmark in the city and in the country and in East Africa and Africa as a continent, Talanta Raila Odinga International Stadium. This Raila Odinga Stadium that the Honorable Karoli Omondi does not want to hear anything to do with, because it is named after Raila Odinga. A great man, a great statesman. This Talanta Stadium,
Under appropriations in aid, appropriations in aid, Honorable Speaker, I know some may not conceptualize what appropriations in aid is. Under appropriations in aid from the sports fund, we are allowing them a further 4.1 billion for sports stadia. Honorable Speaker, this supplementary budget, as I said yesterday, also realigns areas where people may not be able, or a state department may not be able to absorb everything. And if you look at it, there is a reduction of about 700 million to align the budget with actual institutional requirements. 1.8 billion is coming from the contingency fund. Because when we budget, even the budget that we just do for the next financial year, Honorable Sam Matandi will tell you, we provided for money in the contingency fund. What does this money do? If there is any budgeting that you did not provide for in the budget, you utilize that contingency fund to fund. Now we are taking 1.8 billion because we are coming to the close of the year. That money has not been spent, and you take it to more important things where you can spend this money. For instance, you want to watch FIFA World Cup. Broadcasting rights for KBC has 150 million shillings from this. Honorable Speaker, the people of Kwale and the entire coast region and parts of the lower eastern will give you horror stories. I do not want to say horror, like someone said here, that Kenyans watching horror. You know, Honorable Naomi Wako is saying it depends on where you come from. And the person who said Kenyans are watching in horror comes from Ranga, and I come from Kiambu, and we all speak the same language. Honorable Speaker, Mwache Dam development has 2.3 billion shillings. I was speaking about the horror stories that the people of the coast and parts of Lower Eastern can tell you. How mothers woke up as early as 4 a.m. in search of water. How communities spend 3/4 of their day looking for water. When this Mwache Dam is completed, finally completed, you will see the transformation that this will deliver to the people, not just of the coast, but our nation, because the coast region is also a very important tourist destination. Honorable Speaker, I decided to mention those things in detail, so that even as we politic, because we have a right also to politic, but let us also use this house to inform Kenyans the truth of what we are doing. And that is why I was at pain when I see a member shouting at another, just because you don't agree with what they are saying, and you don't dwell on the actual business of what the people of Kenya pay you to do. Because this is what we are paid to do. Honorable Speaker, I've heard some tell others, oh, you have not provided for this and that road. This is a second supplementary budget with, today is the 18th or 17th, I don't know. Today is the 18th. The end of the financial year is in another 12 days. So you must be certain, if you are putting money in development, it is money that you get exchequer releases. And if you are aware, probably they have started strangling the system now to slow down on exchequer releases from the National Treasury. Therefore, those of you who want to belittle, because I had a member belittling the member for Nandi Hills, I am aware and I know the people of Nandi Hills have roads, and I'm sure the member for Nandi Hills can name those roads. They have roads provided for in the budget because this member for Nandi Hills is a very diligent member of parliament who takes time to follow on development projects in his constituency. And I would dare the member for Kajiado North, who was fighting the member for Nandi Hills, tell the people of Kajiado North a single road that you have followed up to provide for the people of Kajiado North.
Honorable Majority Leader, you understand the rules very well. You cannot discuss a fellow member conduct both inside and outside the House without a substantive motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand guided, and as always, I cannot argue with the chair. Because, you know, the only person with powers to throw me out of the House
is you. And I abide by what you are saying, Honorable Speaker, because I want us to allow each other to debate. So that, Honorable Speaker, when the member for Kajiado North spites the member for Nandi Hills, the member for Nandi Hills gets an opportunity to defend it. But because he's a member, he's my member, and I know line by line what is in the budget. I know Nandi Hills has adequate roads because of the diligence and follow-up by the member for Nandi Hills. But I know the people of Kajiado North are still crying, and crying very hard. The people of Kajiado North are my immediate neighbors. I have roads that I am pushing on behalf of the people of Kajiado North. And some I have made sure those roads are in the budget because I follow on their behalf.
A member is on a point of order, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, but I wish to ask you, is a majority leader in order to keep referring to members of parliament, even to keep referring to people outside this parliament? Every time you have a debate, he has to delay debates by naming individuals who are not on this parliament and other members of parliament, trying to degrade people with his remarks.
Honorable member.
Trying to demean people.
Order, honorable member. I've heard you. Honorable member, I am very keenly listening to him. The moment he crosses the boundary and discusses the conduct of the MP for Narok North, even to say that he's not doing good enough for his people to get roads, I'll order him out of order. Order. We are in a session. Order. Muriu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Since my time is about to get over, I have no business replying to the member for Starehe. I only said I mentioned Kajiado North because they are my immediate neighbors, and they are roads that I am working very hard for them, for the people of Kajiado North to get access to roads, because the people of Kajiado North deserve development like any other part of Kenya. And I have worked very hard, and I will make sure the roads that were connecting the Gong bypass that I made sure was in this budget, because almost...
Give him an additional 3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, because...
Conclude.
As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, the Gong bypass road, for instance, and the roads, the Matasia loops, because almost 40% of the people who live in Kajiado North migrated from my village in Kekambura. They call me every day. And I, as a national leader, I have to support them. And I have supported them, and I've made sure in the next budget, the next financial year's budget, the Gong bypass road will be done, and it is there. Just like the member, I hope the member for Nandi Hills will get an opportunity to tell the people of Nandi Hills the kind of work he has put in, because I've been to Nandi Hills. I know the roads he has seen in the office to help him with. But,
Honorable Speaker, I think is the majority leader in order to make such reckless statements that I ensured the money was in the budget, that I will make sure that thing is in the budget next year. I mean, we have a budget framework. We have a process of making budgets in this country. Are you revealing to the country that those processes don't matter? It is what your whims are when you want to attend to your relatives that matters. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, that was unnecessary interjection that I have no time for. Because we all know, and we live in this country, we know how we do the budgets. You know, nothing will land on your table, nothing will land on the table if you are not a diligent member of parliament to be able to follow it up. You must make sure that you interact with the budget committee. You must make sure you interact with the state departments. That is why I am saying, Honorable Speaker, for us to be debating development expenditure 2 weeks to the end of the financial year, we only want to throw points at the member for Nandi Hills, who is I must repeat, is a very diligent member. Very diligent. More diligent by another one who is very fond of pointing fingers at him. Whereas I am very busy working for the people of Kenya. And I will continue to ensure even the people of Suba South get roads. They get access to electricity because they are Kenyans. And they deserve. And the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury, as much as it hurts one of us, he is an expert par excellence given to us by ODM.
and the expert from Suba South, the Honorable John Buddy, as much as it is painful to one of us here, is doing a great job in ensuring that development is there across the country and there is inclusivity. Finally, Honorable Speaker, on State House budget. On State House budget, because that's the other thing I've had people try to make.
Order. Give him half a minute and conclude.
Half a minute to conclude and say this, Honorable Speaker. State House is not State House Nairobi alone. We are all aware we have done a number of state lodges across the country, including the people for Wajir in the northern Kenya. People who felt excluded from Kenya. That people are saying, even Homa Bay, there is a state lodge. Therefore, recurrent expenditure in State House cannot be what it was last year. We just hosted the Africa France Summit, Honorable Speaker. You know that cost money in recurrent expenditure. The President hosting all those people, and we have to provide for those expenses. The same for the Office of the Deputy President. So therefore, even as we seek to follow those who are posting on social media, because I've seen one former member of Parliament from Madeira posting on social media, we must make clear.
Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Kaluma is very intelligent to inform me. He should inform me.
The majority leader, that unlike our former presidents, now you go to State House and you don't take Fanta and biscuits. You are welcomed as a Kenyan, and we have a president who has opened State House to everybody. Not just some top people. Anybody can go to State House and sit with their leader. And so we have to budget for it.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I was concluding. Let me thank Honorable Kaluma for that information, and to also tell the House and this country that unlike some of our former presidents who spent a lot of time in State House, our president is very mobile. And therefore that mobility, that making every Kenyan feel part and parcel of our country in creating inclusivity and togetherness and the unity of our nation, building that unity, the president travels across the country. This is a president who this morning left France, Paris, landed in Mombasa. He is now presiding over the Ocean Conference with hundreds of thousands of delegates from around the world to grow our blue economy that is transforming not just the coast region, the Nyanza region, Lake Turkana and other blue economy areas. Therefore, we cannot compare President William Ruto, who is a teetotaler, with, State House has also been used. There used to be a bar there. It has since been closed. This man is not going to bars. Before that, there are very many active bars in State House. They are all closed. They are now building a church in State House. And that church is being built by money from the president himself. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Otende Amolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this supplementary appropriation number 2 bill of 2026. But with a caution, Mr. Speaker, and this is from the perspective of the Public Accounts Committee. I see my colleagues, Honorable Nabi is here, Dr. Undo is here, Honorable Koechi is there, Honorable Namwari is there. Two things, Mr. Speaker. First is the question of actual expenditure. Mr. Speaker, I note that we have 12 days to the end of the financial year. I am hoping that as Honorable Atandi asks us to support this bill, and we do, that the committee will appropriately caution all these agencies that they had better be sure they'll spend this money before the end of the financial year. Because part of what we deal with routinely is coming to the end of the financial year, and you find agencies that have not spent even up to 40% of what they were allocated. And my caution, therefore, Mr. Speaker, is that if any of these agencies should end up with having an audit query for not having spent, then the Budget and Appropriations Committee should appropriately penalize them by reducing their budget in the next cycle. My second caution, Mr. Speaker, is on confidential expenditure. Mr. Speaker, I note that half of this supplementary budget, that's about 6 billion, goes to 3 agencies that usually have confidential expenditure. That is State House, 1 billion, Internal Security, 1.5 billion, and national intelligence 3.5 billion, about 50%. Mr. Speaker, part of what we have routinely faced are some of these agencies taking virtually every other expenditure and putting it under confidential expenditure. And the reason is they say Treasury has not updated or revised the regulations to indicate what is confidential expenditure and what is not confidential expenditure. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the Finance and National Planning Committee, in conjunction with the Budget Committee.
Order, Honorable Kaluma is on a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, I never interrupt Honorable Amolo, but there is constant mention of confidential vote through the presentations, and it is a very sensitive issue. If I remember, the idea of confidential votes was abolished last year. Could Honorable Amolo mention to us this confidential vote that is referring to and which the members are referring to, so that we can make a decision with knowledge around it? Because so far as I'm aware, there is no confidential vote here.
Mr. Speaker, if that was a point of order, then I do not know under which standing order it arises, because that is a contribution.
No,
Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you.
Order.
I want to respond, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Honorable Otiende Amolo, you are a senior member here. Standing order number 91 says that a member shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts which the member alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. So what you should have asked for is for you to substantiate what are these confidential votes.
Mr. Speaker, this is as a matter of law, not as a matter of fact, and I will explain. I started by mentioning some of my colleagues with whom we serve in the Public Accounts Committee, and they're here. Mr. Speaker, the three agencies have indicated, whenever we ask for their audit queries, including yesterday, they indicate that these fall under the confidential vote, which cannot be responded to because Treasury has not developed guidelines. The only point I wanted to make is this, and it's a very simple point. We do not need to disagree on this. That the Finance and Planning Committee, in conjunction with the Budget Committee, should urge Treasury to now develop these guidelines to separate what is confidential from what is not confidential. Because to the best of my knowledge and to the best of our committee knowledge, no such distinction has been abolished.
Honorable Tongoe is on a point of order.
That's what I want to. Honorable Speaker, I want to be very factual, and I respect our senior counsel there. If you will be keen to look into those specifications, there is nothing like confidential. It is either in the Ministry of Interior, it is indicated security operation, which is totally opposite and different from security operation, confidential. In the State House as well. Yes, in the State House as well. It is just other operating expenses. It's nothing like confidential. So let's not mislead the House. Let's not misinform the country. Those are not confidential. And should be clear as that.
There is no confidential point.
You can only rise on a point of order if there's an active member on the floor. So wait until Honorable Otiende Amolo resumes his debate, and then you can rise on a point of order. Proceed, Honorable Otiende Amolo.
Mr. Speaker, I accept to be informed by Honorable Dr.
Point of information? Yes.
Honorable Speaker, we are responsible members of Parliament. We are leaders in this country, and we swore to uphold the Constitution of Kenya. Those of us who sit in Public Accounts Committee, and I have sat there since 2020, Honorable Speaker, every year there are several agencies that have a confidential vote that is never subject to being unpacked. And that's what Honorable Otiende Amolo is alluding for. I sit in the Public Accounts Committee. I can even bring you the public accounts, the report of the Director General that was even discussed as late as yesterday to this House for purpose of substantiating the issue that there's a confidential vote in our books of accounts. Yeah.
Honorable, Yeah, let him rise first. Proceed, Ambatenda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my point is a very simple one, and I do not know why
Majority Leader, you are on a point of
attracts
order.
controversy.
What's your point of order, Honorable Majority Leader?
Honorable Speaker, you know, listening to what Honorable Ondo, I don't know if there is a member of the Public Accounts Committee, but I know the senior counsel is a member or was a member of the Public Accounts Committee, if not the chair some time back. But Honorable Speaker, I think we need to make it clear what the Honorable Ngogoi said, what the Honorable Kaluma has said. Before 2024, there used to be a confidential vote. After 2024, that confidential vote was abolished, and we must not confuse what is classified expenditure, like you had rightly guided. There's what is usually classified expenditure, military, NIS, part of what Honorable Ngogoi is speaking about, security operations, which you will not discuss in an open forum. But confidential, Honorable Speaker, I would want the Honorable Ondo, because he alleges that it is something they are discussing in the Public Accounts Committee. You can debate something in a committee, but until and unless it is in a formal report before this House, we cannot be discussing it, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I would want to advise that if there is anything that they want to address in the Public Accounts Committee, they put it in their report, it comes before the House. If there are issues the Auditor General has raised, and the senior counsel knows that, they will bring the report here and they will debate it. But let us not use this forum again to send the wrong message out there to people, as I can see attempts to.
Let him rise.
Mr. Speaker, if I may just wind up my contribution. Mr. Speaker, whether you want to call it classified, whether you want to call it confidential, whether you want to call it other vote, my point is a very simple one. That the agencies constantly come and say we cannot respond to this because they still use the word confidential. They may use the word classified. But the point is, Treasury has not distinguished, has not generated the regulations to indicate these ones can be classified or these ones cannot. And therefore, most of these agencies come and say we cannot respond to almost everything because it falls in that category. All I'm saying is that it behoves us as a House to work with Treasury to create that distinction. Lastly, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Honorable Otende Amolo. I will repeat that again. And I've had the opportunity in the 10th Parliament, in the 7th Parliament. You see, there is intelligence gathering, there's counterintelligence, there's terrorism, there's counter-terrorism. You expect those institutions are going to tell you we use these things to go and get espionage, counter-espionage. Those things are not for public, what do you call? There is the military order, military hardware and ordinances. There is the officers who are there. Nobody knows the number of our officers in the armed forces. It's supposed to be a classified information order. Classified information. Honorable members, let us not confuse statecraft. Order. Order. Mbui. I think without proper arrangements being done by security cleared committee, this parliament, open parliament, cannot discuss our security institutions in any way. Not the military. Nobody is supposed to know how many helicopters we have, how many planes we have, how many of these things. And these are information, the expenditure is for ordinances. So I want you to know that when you get to that, please, it's a no-go area. But anybody else, order, any other area, yes, but not the security machinery, not the intelligence, not the armed forces of this country. On who? On me. You see, that's why I tell you you're a first timer. You rise on a point of order when a member is contributing and is not. Order. I am not debating. I am guiding the House. No, I'm guiding the House. Proceed. Proceed, Amolo. We don't want this basic activism to go into national security. National security is not an easy thing to mess around with. Proceed.
Can I have the mic?
Give the mic to Honorable Otende Amolo. Use the next one, or Tenda Molo.
Which one? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, it is funny that the very point you make is all I'm making, and yet you make it by way of correcting me. No. The point I'm making is simple.
No, I'm informing the House, not correcting you. Yes.
That the fact that there are certain things that cannot be disclosed to the public should not be an excuse to cover even those which should be audited. And what should happen is that Treasury should develop very clear guidelines to say these ones cannot be the subject of public debate, but these ones ought to be the subject of public debate. You cannot take, say, the entire amount allocated to one agency because it's a security agency and say it cannot be audited. That's all I'm saying. And you are actually agreeing with me, Mr. Speaker, and we spent so much time on this for no reason. I want to close, as I say, the following. Two matters, Mr. Speaker. One, I agree with the majority leader.
What's your point of order, Honorable Kaluma? What's your point of order, Honorable Kaluma? Order, Honorable Senate. When somebody stands on a point of order, I will give you. Yeah, but when he's contributing, stand on a point of order. Okay, I'll get to them. You'll have it. What is out of order, Honorable Kaluma? Can you give the mic to Honorable Kaluma? Go to any nearer one, that's centuries. Come to the front. Can you give the mic to Honorable Kaluma, for God's sake?
I don't know.
Kaluma, there's a mic here.
They have a point of order, so I'm waiting.
Sergeant at arms. Sergeant.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Otiende Amolo raises the good point that if there are confidential votes, then we should have a regulation around them. And we don't contest that point. The point of order I raised, Honorable Speaker, is that we are debating supplementary appropriations number 2 bill of 2026.
Mine is not working.
And in that supplementary appropriation bill we are dealing with, there is no provision for confidential vote. And my worry is that in as much as Honorable Amolo's explanation is good, if we let it go that way, the presumption by people watching us outside there will be that there are confidential provisions here which are not there. So could we agree that for purposes of relevance, there is no confidential vote provision here?
Clearly, what Honorable Amolo is saying, whether it's classified or not classified, or it's confidential or classified, we need to have certain guidelines from the Treasury, which is perfectly in order. Proceed. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that intervention. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming to my last point.
Wamboka is also on a point of order. What's your point of order? Wamboka.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder why are people panicking? Honorable Otiende Amolo is saying, as late as yesterday,
Order. That's why I keep wondering why you people don't read your own standing orders and understand the basic rules of debate in the House. You rise on a point of order. You rise on a point of order. Did he accept your information? So wait until he accepts the information. It's not for me to grant that. Proceed, Honorable Amoratim.
Mr. Speaker, you realize I had barely taken 2 minutes.
I'll give you an additional 1 minute. So do you
Yes.
wish to be informed by Amboka?
Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, as I come to my third point on a general point, first, I agree with the Honorable Majority Leader that we need decorum in this House. Yes. That we can disagree, but reasonably. But that includes not raising unnecessary points of order.
Yes.
By way of contribution, which you can wait and make during your own time. That also includes, unfortunately, Majority Leader, not decampaigning your own colleagues by saying what they've not done for their constituencies. Mr. Speaker, may I also say, and I sympathize with you, because in this House we have two sides of the aisle. But these aisles are very difficult because you have the minority on the majority side. Then you have the minority on the minority side. And so people keep crisscrossing and you really can't quite tell. But still, I think on the ultimate, Mr. Speaker, it is the balance that will achieve the decorum in this House. As I finish, and I agree again with the majority leader.
Give him give him 20 seconds.
I agree that the Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium is an icon. But for the avoidance of doubt, Raila Amolo Odinga name cannot have another name beside it. It is not Talanta Raila Amolo Odinga. It is Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium. Thank you.
Honorable members, order. The opportunity now belongs to the newly elected member of parliament for Emurua Dikir. The rules are very clear. He is not to be interrupted at all. Yes. He's making his maiden speech.
Yes.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you for granting me this opportunity to make my maiden speech in this honorable House. I rise today with profound humility and deep gratitude as the duly elected member of parliament for Emurua Dikir constituency following the by-election held on 14th May 2026 under the United Democratic Alliance Party. First and foremost, I thank the Almighty God for His grace. I also thank the people of Emurua Dikir for the confidence and trust they bestowed upon me.
Proceed.
Yeah. As some might be aware, this was my fourth attempt seeking the mandate to serve my people. And standing here today is a testimony that determination, patience, and faith can indeed reward. I remain deeply humbled by the overwhelming support from all corners of our constituency, from Mogondo to Alalmasani, Ilkerin to Kapsasian, and every village in between. I equally thank the UDA party leadership, our party leader, His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, my family, friends, campaign team, council of elders, religious leaders, and every supporter who stood with me in votes, prayer, and encouragement during this historic journey, and even to those who did not vote for me, I'll be a leader to all. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I stand here today, I do so in shadow of immense sorrow following the tragic loss of our beloved leader, the late Honorable Johanna Ngeno, who lost his life in the unfortunate helicopter crash on 28 February 2026.
Honorable member, I am made to understand that you did have an opportunity yesterday to address the House, although you're doing it on the issue of the late Conchela. But that was your maiden moment. Nonetheless, the chair will give you an opportunity, but you must intersperse it with contribution on the order paper today. Proceed.
Okay. Well guided. We lost a fearless leader, a patriot, and a servant of the people who dedicated his life to fighting for the dignity and progress of our constituency. May his soul continue resting in peace. Mr. Speaker, sir, I do not come here to replace Honorable Johanna Ngeno, for no one can replace him. Rather, I come to continue the journey we began together as comrades in the year 2007, when the quest to carve out a Murwa Digir from Kilgoris constituency began. By 2013, we had already succeeded to have our own constituency as a people. And so I honor this legacy through service, humility, and commitment to the people he loved dearly. I pledge to carry forward his dream and for a better Emurwa Digir, and to ensure that his vision does not die with him. Many honorable members who attended the burial of our departed leader had an opportunity to interact with the people of Emurwa Digir and witness both the progress made and the opportunities that still exist for further development within our constituency. Indeed, we appreciate the strides that have been made over the years in the sectors of road infrastructure, education, rural electrification, agriculture, and establishment of important public institutions across our constituency. However, as the youngest and growing constituency, there remains a need for continued investment to expand road network, a matter on which I am already engaging relevant authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a need to improve access to clean and reliable water, enhance electricity connectivity to the last mile, strengthen agricultural support programs for our farmers. Mr. Speaker, I dream of schools where every child can learn in dignity and compete equally with children from other parts of Kenya. On healthcare, I am committed to working closely with the county government of Narok and relevant national agencies to ensure our health facilities, including Emurwa Digir Level 4 Hospital, are well equipped, adequately staffed, and fully operational to serve our people effectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, the greatest strength of Emurwa Digir is its people. They are resilient, industrious, and hardworking citizens whose potential, if well supported, can greatly contribute to both our local national economy. I look forward to working with various stakeholders to open more economic and employment opportunities for our youth across the 4 wards. Mr. Speaker, while acknowledging my legislative roles as per Constitution, particularly Articles 94 and 95, I undertake to exercise firm oversight over NGCDF to ensure that every cent allocated to Emurwa Digir serves the intended purpose. I also commit myself to ensuring fairness, transparency, and equity in allocation of bursaries so that no deserving child misses education because of poverty, discrimination. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to acknowledge the resilience, strength, determination of the people of Emurwa Digir. For years, our people have endured hardship, marginalization, and neglect, yet they have never lost hope. Today, they look to this house with renewed optimism, and their voices shall finally be heard and their challenges addressed. I promise the people of Emurwa Digir that I shall serve them faithfully, protect their interests fearlessly, and I commit to being unifying factor in our bid to transform our constituency into a beacon of progress and opportunity. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to thank the following members of Parliament who came to support me way back in 2017, led by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, Honorable Tongoyo, Honorable Kibagendi, Honorable Ngogoyo, Honorable Parejo, Honorable Tongei Rebecca, among many others. Although I found Honorable Kibagendi and Ngogoyo not supporting the government, I would wish them to cross the floor to support the government of the day. May God bless Emurwa Digir and may God bless Kenya. Thank you so much.
What's your point of order, Honorable Mizigi? What's your point? Give her the mic. Give the Honorable Member for Taita Taveta, Haika Mizigi, the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I stand at the standing orders 95. Mr. Speaker, since we've had enough time adequately to contribute to the motion, Mr. Speaker, I will request that the mover to be called to reply, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I know. Order. Honorable members, let's have order. Take the nearest seat, honorable member. Order. MP standing there. Who is there? Honorable member, take a seat. Take a seat. When the chair, order. Honorable Senate. Order. Honorable members, I now put the question that the mover be called upon to reply. As many as that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay. No. The ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Before
you reply, I think there's one thing I wish to draw the attention of the House to, because it's important. Honorable members, please do read your standing orders. Do read your standing orders. 4 years into the House now, and I get the feeling that most of you have not read your standing orders. If you are sent out of the House and you fail or you refuse or you become a hero, the Speaker has no option but to call on the Sergeant at Arms to remove you. If you are removed by the Sergeant at Arms, action to be taken on refusal to withdraw. Standing order number 111. If any member shall refuse to withdraw when required to do so, by or under these standing orders, the Speaker or the chairperson of the committee, as the case may be, having called the attention of the House or committee to the fact that recourse to force is necessary in order to compel such member to withdraw, shall order such member to be removed, and such member shall thereupon, without question, be suspended from the House or from the service of the House for a minimum of 21 days and a maximum of 90 days. And shall during that such suspension forfeit the right of access to the President of the Parliament, and the Sergeant at Arms shall take necessary action to enforce the order. In addition to it, the member loses his... You know what I'm talking about. So when you want to become a hero, you better know the consequences. The consequences can be very severe. I've never had an opportunity to do that, and I will never want to do it. But I want us to have a lot of decorum and a lot of dignity here. And always there will be a balance. If you feel that you haven't been hard enough, the Speaker will always make sure there's a balance, proper balance. And all sides are hard properly. But this House has got to be a house of dignity. Proceed and reply.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank members. This is the very first time, Honorable Speaker, that we are discussing the budget bills with the House almost half full. In the past, we have always been a handful of us when we are discussing this finance and budget matter. So I want to thank members again. We have had a robust debate on this matter. But Honorable Speaker, there's something that I want to tell members. Budget committee transacts businesses from departmental committees. And every time we are executing budgets, we meet chairmen of committees where all of you sit. And they come to us with different resource requirements for each and every department and ministries. I wish to confirm that I have never seen, or we have never executed a budget where a ministry has been given their full resource requirements. We are always giving them a handful, hoping that in the supplementary estimates, we'll have a chance to give them more resources. Honorable Speaker, for example, Parliament, the resource requirement for Parliament is about 65 billion. We are only able to give them about under 50 billion. The resource requirement, for example, Honorable Speaker, for the police requires about 220 billion. We have a gap of about 65 billion to police. Honorable Speaker, judiciary, the resource requirement for judiciary is about 40 billion. We have been able to allocate them just under 30 billion. Honorable Speaker, the resource requirement for State House is about 25 billion. As at today, when we are passing this supplementary too, State House has a gap of about 8 billion, which we are unable to fund them. So, Honorable Speaker, this debate about State House being overfunded needs to come to an end. And members, because you sit in these committees, you need to have a better understanding of the budget other than the public. So that when you come to the floor of the House and you start accusing us of giving more resources to State House, you need to have facts. For example, Honorable Speaker, the NIS has a funding gap of 30 billion that we are unable to resource for them. So we must agree that this House will never appropriate sufficient resources for each and every ministry, each and every department, and therefore we need to stop this politicization of budget. There is no politics in this budget. The allocations are proper. They are required to run those specific ministries, and therefore what we are doing as budget committee is not to appropriate resources for particular people. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I would like to reply and ask I would like to reply. Thank you.
Order. Honorable members, I now put the question that the supplementary appropriation number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026 be now read a second time. No, be now read a second time. As men of the appear and say aye. Aye. As men of the country appear and say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, we have a supplement. Oh, proceed first.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and the application towards the service of the year ending on the 30th June 2026 and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Honorable members, we have a supplementary order paper. And now we are going to order number 9, Roman 1. Order number 9, Roman 2 is deferred to an appropriate date and time in the future. And now we're going into committee.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, members, this is a short bill, and I would like order. I would like us to have attention of the House, and then we proceed quickly. All members, you are now in the Committee of the Whole House, considering the supplementary appropriation number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026. First schedule. All members, I propose the question that the first schedule be the schedule of the bill. Is there an amendment? Chairperson, schedule. The first schedule.
I would like to move that clause 2 of the bill.
Order. We're on the first schedule.
No, there's no amendment.
The amendment?
There's no amendment.
No, just a minute, please. The Honorable Chair approach the table.
Do you have an extra copy?
We have a supplementary order paper, so Chairperson, please move the amendment of the first schedule. Order. The supplementary one. Go ahead.
I would like to move that the first schedule to the bill be deleted and replaced with the following new schedule, which is in the order paper. Thank you.
All members, I propose the question that the first schedule of the bill be amended as proposed by the Chair, Budget Appropriation Committee. I now put the question, all members, that the first schedule of the bill be amended as proposed by the Chairperson of the BSC Committee. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I now put the question, members, that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill? Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Members, I propose the question that the second schedule be the second schedule of the bill. Honorable Chair.
I would like to move that the second schedule to the bill be amended and replaced with the following new schedule, which is here in the bill, in the order paper.
Well, members, I propose the question, therefore, that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair of the BAC. I put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair of the Budget and Opinion Committee. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 5.
All members, I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair.
I would like to move that clause 5 of the bill be amended by inserting the expression R1152 immediately after the expression R11071.
All members, I propose the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Budget and Opinion Committee. I now put the question, members, that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the BSC committee. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question, therefore, that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clauses 3 and 4.
All members, I propose a question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. There being no amendment, I now put the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 2.
All members, I propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Honorable Chair.
I move that clause 2 of the bill be amended by deleting the words 13,885,023,911 appearing after the words the sum of and substituting thereof, therefore the words 14,801,023,911. Thank you.
All members, I propose a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. I put the question, members, that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the BSC committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members, I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Title.
Members, I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Members, I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. There being an amendment, I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Reporting. Mover to move for reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the supplementary appropriation number 2 bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, and its approval thereof with amendments.
All members, I had put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the supplementary appropriations bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Members on the aisle. You're standing for reporting, members.
But you should call the speaker. Mr. Speaker!
Chairperson to report to the House.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the supplementary appropriations number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, and approved the same with amendments.
The mover to move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request the Honorable the Vice Chairman of Budget and Appropriations Committee to second the motion for agreement with the report on the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Pukose.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Yeah, honorable members, I propose the question. The House do agree with the committee in the said report. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? The Honorable George Sunkuya.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the report that I raised to support the supplementary appropriation bill. Supplementary budget are an important part of the managing a public finance. It is not always possible, Mr. Speaker, to predict even government need when announced budget is prepared. The Honorable Speaker, the financial year progress, new priorities and urgent need may arise. It is therefore the responsibility of the House to consider and approve the necessary adjustment that government services continue without interruption. Additional, a finance propose that in the bill will support the government program ongoing development project. I stand to support.
The Honorable, the MP for Nandi Hills, Honorable Kitur.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, again to make this contribution on the supplementary appropriation number 2. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say I support indeed this bill, particularly that it's going to impact on a number of programs, one of which is critical that affects also my own constituents. For instance, Honorable Speaker, the issue of the sports academies, that the funds that would go towards the sports academies, that I have a couple of them in my own constituency, Honorable Speaker. Also, Honorable Speaker, towards the debate, one of my colleagues did mention that is Honorable Ngogoyo, and he was speaking about some that we may not be aware of some of the programs that we are doing and what this bill is going to do. And I wanted to notify Honorable Ngogoyo because I also happen to have seen what is happening in Kajiado North. I wanted to notify you, Honorable Ngogoyo, that I have several programs that I've been able in this House and the committees in this House to be able to articulate for the people of Nandi Hills. And when you took the initiative earlier, Honorable Ngogoyo, to mention that in the budget that has just gone, and even as we're talking about part of what is happening in the appropriation bill, I want to notify you that there is several programs, like the roads in my constituency, like the one from Savannah to Nandi Hills, like the road from Siwa all the way to Nandi Hills, like the road from Imaki to Nandi Hills. Like, I have several programs that if I challenge you today to mention, what have you been able to push when you are a member here, I'm sure you would be very keen to have been able to speak mainly about what happens to the Wamunyoro teams and stuff like that. But that not belabored, Honorable Speaker, I want to also support this bill, noting the issue of the Nyota funds that is going to impact greatly the young people of our country. And Honorable Speaker, as we support this bill, many young people are going to benefit. Finally, Honorable Speaker, on the aspects of education, when you look at the funds that is going to go towards the invigilation, the programs around, where was that? Now, Honorable Speaker, let me mention this then before I sit down. The issue of the ICT committee, Honorable Speaker, and one of the things that had come to our committee was the issue of the 150 million shillings that is meant to support the KBC to be able to broadcast the FIFA World Cup games. This is very critical because with the coming of this new government, Honorable Speaker, it has been able to promote incredibly the talent of our country. And therefore, this is going now to allow all Kenyans to be able to have the opportunity, because KBC is going to have the rights to be able to be seen across the country. So I support indeed this bill with everything in me. Thank you.
Honorable Adan Keinan, because of rank, we'll have the last comment at this stage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to make just two comments on this. Mr. Speaker, I want to, this House has a very important title called the August House. And I followed the debate yesterday and this morning. There's one thing that came to my mind, the history of our democracy. I do not want to delve very much on this, but it's my plea to all colleagues here. We are one group. You can do whatever you want to do, but outside there, we are members of the 13th Parliament. As we continue with this debate, the budget-making process is a constitutional process. 2, it's also a political process. And 3, and more fundamentally, it's a party-driven process. And that's why every party during the campaign period, they have a manifesto. That manifesto must be translated into a workable, pragmatic, executive-driven economic agenda. So as even we delve into this, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of debate, I want to urge my colleagues, when you want to contribute on a particular issue, prepare the alternative. And that's what the Kenyans want to hear. And I really want to plead with my colleagues here. Let's not turn the House into what I have seen today and what I've also seen yesterday afternoon. That is not the kind of image that we want to project. And finally, I've gone through this. Recently, there are 2 things, and this is captured also partly in this. His Excellency the President and the entire government was in Wajir on 1st June, Madaraka Day. You have heard the apology that came from none other than the President of the Republic of Kenya, and that was the first event of its kind in the history. And therefore, and it's not going to be the last. The other day it happened in Kitui, it happened in Wajir, and I'm sure it will happen in other parts of the Republic of Kenya. But because of what has happened in the history that we have had as a region, taking into account the circumstances, any budget that is tailor-made for that particular and other activities of similar nature, for me as an individual, is something that I've been yearning for. So I want to believe this supplementary 2 is properly before the House, is well documented, and therefore I urge you to support. But as we approach this afternoon session, please, let's act differently. That is what will give us a better image, a better understanding, and that's what the Kenyans actually are looking forward to. I support this, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let me put the question. We are going to have a stage in the process where we can make comments before third reading. So accordingly, honorable members, I now put the question. The House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. The mover of the bill to move third reading.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the supplementary appropriation number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, be now read a third time. I also request the Honorable Vice Chairman of Budget and Appropriations Committee to second.
The Honorable Pukose.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question. The supplementary appropriation bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, be now read a third time. The Honorable Charles Ngusia.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And from the onset, I would like to say I am supporting this supplementary budget bill, of course, bill number 2, purposely because I have seen a lot of importance, because we are hosting Africa Cup of Nations next year. And as I sit in the committee of the sports committee, there are things that CAPS came and changed without us expecting to change the standards and quality of the stadia. And it is very important we allocate resources so that we can meet the regulations of the CAF and we hold a successful Africa Cup of Nations, which will sell the country across. Mr. Speaker, the other issues of security, they are very important. We saw what happened in Mwingi and other areas, and that is why most of the members who are opposing this bill, they don't have facts. We need to support this bill so that the money can be realigned to a very important and sensitive issues. With those few remarks, I support.
That is, let me come this Honorable. The Honorable Japhet Nyakundi will be followed by the Honorable Timothy Toroitich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to support the Supplementary Appropriations Bill number 2, because one, I have had the Member of Parliament for Suba, who has just left, talking about the stadiums. I want to tell him that these stadiums that he has seen being built are being built by this money from Sports Fund. And the money that is coming in from Sports Fund is appropriations in aid. What I want to urge this House, let us support this, because we have initially, we never used to have these stadiums, the like of Talanta, the likes of Kisii and Homa Bay, where he comes from. So this money that is in the supplementary budget is very, very important, because we have seen what this government is doing with money from sports. Initially, we never used to see this money for sports fund building stadiums all over the country. So I want to support this supplementary budget, because it is supporting a lot of things, more especially money for invigilators. You saw the other day teachers striking because they were not given their money last year, the ones who invigilated the exams. But this time round, I have seen money has been put in early enough so that as the students are going to do their exams this year, the teachers can be able to get the money so that they can be able to support the invigilation. So generally, I want to support this supplementary budget in totality, and I want to thank the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and more especially the able Chairman, Honorable Samuel Atandi. Thank you.
The Honorable Timothy Toroitich in 1 minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the letter, the spirit, and the intent of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill number 2 of 2026. Honorable Speaker, for only one reason. Honorable Speaker, I have seen that we've allocated 1.5 billion towards the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. Honorable Speaker, I come from a region that has been prevalent with insecurity matters, the Kerio Valley region. Honorable Speaker, I am happy that since this government took over, the government of William Ruto, we've seen that the security situation in Kerio Valley region has stabilized, and therefore I support the allocation of 1.5 billion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Lastly, the Honorable, that is Felix Odiwuor. 1 minute only.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also support the Supplementary Appropriation Bill number 2, mostly on the side of the sports fund and the money that has been allocated to it. I had even a conversation with the CEO of Sport Fund, and in my constituency, Undugu grounds will start being repaired and work will be done there. Apart from that, a few roads that have been installed in my constituency, that is Karen, the Langata Road from Karen Galleria all the way to Crossroad, Ole Shapara in South Sea, and Muhoho Road also have been allocated some money. I want to take this earliest opportunity to also thank the chairperson, Budget Committee, Honorable Atandi, for the good job that he's been able to do to allocate these monies in the supplementary. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Naomi Wako in 30 seconds.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will confirm that I support this appropriation bill, and also congratulate the committee, simply because the State Department for water and sanitation receives money. State Department for Sports does the same. Youth Affairs and Creative Economy does the same. And State Department for Micro, Small, Medium support receives enough support. And again, Honorable Speaker, Presidency is responsible for organization and coordination of the government business, and much of this money goes there. I support this and I congratulate the committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members have confirmed that we have the requisite quorum in the House for purposes of making a decision. I therefore put the question, which is that the Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 38 of 2026, be now read a third time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Let us be
a bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and the application towards the service of the year ending on the 30th June 2026 and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Thank you, honorable members, for a good morning session. Let us be upstanding. Honorable members, and the time being 1:01 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Thursday, the 18th day of June 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
My work is easy because I use